Yeah, so Offa's Dyke Escape, at the very beginning, we were toying with the idea of maybe calling it Snowdonia View, because you can see Snowdon from the pod. And then it was a flip of a coin between Snowdonia View and Offa's Dyke, and then we went with that, purely because Offa's Dyke actually runs adjacent to our land here, and we are on the last stage of the walk, so it goes from Bodfarry to Prestatyn, which is the last 10 miles. And then we went with Offa's Dyke, and yeah, here we are today with it.
So we first opened our doors to guests in May 2021, which was we were just coming out of another lockdown in Wales, I think. So it was all a bit uncertain as to whether we would be able to have guests, but luckily we were. And again, we were quite apprehensive about the first feedback that we would get. Have we thought of every eventuality? Have we prepped the pod appropriately? And so I guess that was the feeling. And then when we did get feedback and it was lovely, it was just such a nice feeling to think, okay, we've done all the prep now and someone's enjoyed staying here. And then it's been the same with every guest really, making sure that we're listening to feedback and acting on anything that comes up. So it's always really lovely when people say they've had a wonderful stay here, that they feel refreshed, that they leave here having had a lovely break, because there's a sense of pride in doing that. So that's one of our favourite things, is that we're able to offer an escape for people. We live in a beautiful part of the world. When we have guests that have come from living in a city and they just come and escape here, it's a really lovely feeling that we've been able to share our little piece of treasure with somebody else.
So here at Offa's Dyke Escape, we get a variety of people. So we get mainly couples, because we're an adults-only project here, but we get all different types of ages coming through, from the ages of 18. I think we've had guests in their 80s come here. But we've had a lot of honeymooners, we've had a lot of wedding anniversaries, we've even had a proposal here a couple of months ago, which was really exciting.
I think for us, knowing that we have the security of an additional income as well, that's been life-changing. So if our child ever needed me to give up work to care for them, then we have that kind of security to fall back on. And it's always nice thinking ahead for the future to make sure that we have this investment for us, for our retirement, and for our children's future as well. So I think for us, that's how it's changed our lives.
So in all, it did take a bit of time. I would say it took about 14 to 15 months in total. So a lot of work has to go in it from the very beginning, from the planning stages up to getting the site ready, and then actually getting the pod here. So I think the view obviously is something that the guests really enjoy. And then we've got the hot tub here for people to relax in.
I think my favourite part of the building, it's such a beautiful building. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so it's made by Shire Houses, and that ticked all the boxes for me, because it does feel a little bit like Bilbo Baggins's Hideaway. But I really love the staircase and the way that they fashioned an actual tree trunk to form part of the staircase. That was new, I think, for our pod, and it's just so beautiful. We
always make sure that it's comfortable for our guests, so like I say, we always give them a nice bottle of bubbly, we give them you know, the bread, the crisps, the biscuits, and we just make sure that it's nice and comfortable for when the guests arrive here.
But I think for us, it's a fun experience. We want it to be fun for others. We really love and passionate about our local area, so for us it's an opportunity to showcase that and to recommend places that we've enjoyed going to.
I think the biggest problem we had was actually the logistics of getting the pod here. So my Shire Houses, they've been brilliant with us, who are based down in Cheltenham, who actually designed and built the pod. The day that it came to site, it had to come down a little road here, and it was difficult to get through. So there was a telegraph pole on one side and a tree on the other, and it was a tight squeeze to get through.
I think to a degree, holiday letting is what we thought it would be. I think there is a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes that when you go on holiday, you're not necessarily aware of that. So I think we are more aware now, and when we've been away since opening Offa's Dyke Escape, we are appreciative of all the work that goes on behind the scenes. So I think that is something that we weren't aware of before doing this, but it's, you know, a new enterprise for us. I think if we were to do things differently before, you know, going from scratch before we had the business, we would have gone and looked around other similar holiday rentals, have chance to go and view other places. But I think if we were to do it again, from scratch, that's something that we would recommend.
In the end, employed a planning consultant, and we found that very, very useful. So they could sort of like just point us down the right direction and the right paths. So we found that very beneficial to get somebody who knows what they're doing, because it's not every day that you go in, put planning in for something, so it was all new to us as a family. So
yeah, so Sykes have been amazing, really clear communication, nothing's too much trouble. When we contact, we hear back. The website, we've booked through Sykes, and we found it really easy to book and to use and to navigate, and so we're grateful that our customers also have that experience. You know, it is hard work, and the investment, the kind of at the outset, was big, and all the planning and making sure that everything was done in a timely way so that it could be opened. That was a big piece of work, but the kind of benefits of that do outweigh all of the work that went in. So yeah, absolutely, we have no regrets.